She said she was helping her mom recover from surgery. For 2 weeks, I took care of our baby alone. One night, the baby was crying and I opened her iPad to stream white noise and found a video of her in a hot tub with her ex. I called her. She answered with a whisper. "Can I call you back?" I didn't say a word. The next morning, she came home to find I'm still angry, and I think I always will be. It started 2 weeks before the hot tub video. Tasha told me her mom was getting surgery on her lower back. Said she needed help at home for a while. I said sure. No questions. No hesitation. That's just who I am. I believed my wife. We'd been together 5 years. Married 3 of them. We had Addie together. I never thought she'd lie to my face like that. Tasha left that Friday morning with a packed duffel bag. She gave me a quick kiss on the cheek, said she'd text me once she got there. She didn't take Addie. I thought that was a little weird at first, but she told me her mom's recovery was going to be rough and she didn't want Addie around that kind of stress. She promised she'd FaceTime us every night. I told her I'd keep everything running smooth at home. I took her at her word. That was my first mistake. For the first few days, everything seemed normal. Tasha sent updates. Said her mom was sore, couldn't move around much. She'd send me short texts at night. Sometimes we FaceTimed, and she looked tired, hair pulled back, hoodie on, usually sitting in a dark living room. I didn't think much of it. Meanwhile, I was juggling everything. My job as an HVAC tech isn't a sit-down job. I'm out in the field, crawling in attics, sweating in basements, hauling around tools. I get home around 5 or 6, pick Addie up from daycare, feed her, clean her, rock her, try to get her to sleep. I was exhausted. There were nights I didn't eat dinner. I was running on coffee, fast food, and pure willpower. Still, I kept telling myself, it's just a couple weeks. She's helping her mom. I've got this. But things started to feel off. Tasha stopped answering right away. She said her phone was dying, or she was taking care of her mom. She started texting less, calling less. A few times I called late at night, and she didn't answer at all. She'd text me the next morning and say she'd fallen asleep next to her mom on the couch. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But I started noticing weird things. The background in her FaceTime calls didn't match her mom's house. I'd only been there once, but I remembered the wallpaper, the curtains, the couch. What I was seeing on her screen wasn't that. Asked her once and she brushed it off fast, said her mom had remodeled the living room. I let it go. That was mistake number 2. The night everything fell apart, Addie was screaming at 2 a.m. Wouldn't stop crying no matter what I did. I remembered that Tasha had a white noise app on her iPad she used to help Addie sleep. So I grabbed it off the nightstand. It wasn't locked, just opened right up. I went to the white noise app, but something in me, it's hard to explain, told me to check something else first. So I tapped on the Photos app. What I saw made me feel like I got punched in the chest. There were recent videos, like within the last few days. I opened one. It was her, Tasha, in a hot tub, laughing, holding a drink. She was with someone. Took me a second to recognize him. It was Daniel, her ex. I saw her slide onto his lap. She was wearing a bikini I'd never seen before. They were kissing, drinking, splashing around. She looked like she didn't have a care in the world. Not a single thought about me or Addie. I paused the video. My hands were shaking. My baby was still screaming in the background, and I was just sitting there watching my marriage burn in front of me. I called her. She answered after a few rings. I could hear water in the background. She whispered, "Can I call you back?" I didn't say anything. I didn't have to. I hung up. I held Addie and sat in the living room in the dark until the sun came up. Didn't sleep. Didn't eat. I was past shocked. I was cold. Empty. The next morning, she came home without warning. Walked through the door with Starbucks like nothing had happened. When she saw me holding the iPad, her face changed. "You're back early," I said. She tried to fake a smile. "Yeah, I thought I'd surprise you." I tapped the screen. Played the video. She froze. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Then, finally, she said, It's not what it looks like. I laughed. Hard. You think I'm stupid?
She tried to walk toward me.
I stepped back. I grabbed Addie's car seat, already packed with everything she needed. I'd done it that night. I'm taking her to my brother's. Don't text. Don't call. I'm getting a lawyer. She dropped to her knees, crying.
Begging.
Said she didn't mean for it to happen.
Said it was a mistake.
That she was confused. That she still loved me. I didn't say anything. I walked out the door. But I wasn't done yet. After I left with Addie, I drove straight to my older brother Caleb's place in Parker. He's got 2 kids and a big house, so I knew we'd have space to stay while I figured things out. I didn't tell him the full story at first. Just said things with Tasha weren't good, and I needed a place to crash for a while. He took one look at my face and didn't ask more. That first night, I barely slept. I just laid on the couch with Addie and her bassinet next to me, staring at the ceiling, feeling like everything I'd built had just collapsed. I wanted to scream, cry, throw something, but I had to stay calm for my daughter. I kept thinking, how could she leave us like that? For him? The next day, I took the iPad to a computer repair guy I trust. Told him I needed everything backed up and pulled, just in case. Photos, videos, texts, everything. He said no problem and had it done in a couple hours. What I saw in the backups made my stomach turn. There weren't just a few videos. There were dozens. Different hotels. Different outfits. Different nights. She'd been seeing Daniel for months. Some of the dates overlapped with when I was in the hospital with Addie after she was born. One video showed them laughing in a hotel bed while she FaceTimed me. I saw my own face on her phone screen while Daniel kissed her shoulder. That's when something in me broke. It wasn't just betrayal. It was humiliation. I texted her one line, "You have 48 hours to come clean to everyone. If you don't, I will."
She didn't respond.
Instead, the next day, she showed up at Caleb's door. I was in the kitchen feeding Addie when he called out, "Nate, you've got company." I walked to the front door, and there she was, Tasha. No makeup, messy bun, sunglasses over her eyes, like that would hide what she did. She started crying the moment she saw me. "Nate, please."
"I'm so sorry."
I was confused. Daniel reached out months ago, and we started talking again. I didn't plan to meet up. It just happened once, and I held up my hand. "Don't lie to me again. I saw everything. Don't insult me." She covered her mouth and turned away. I kept going. "You didn't just cheat. You abandoned your daughter. You told me you were helping your mom, and you left me to handle everything while you were out screwing around in hotel jacuzzis. That's not a mistake. That's a choice." She kept sobbing, saying it didn't mean anything, that she felt overwhelmed, lost her way, all the same tired lines. I asked her one question. "Are you still talking to him?" She paused. That was my answer. "Good," I said. "Makes this easier." She stepped forward, desperate now. "You don't have to do this. We can fix this. We can go to therapy." I shook my head.
"No."
"I already filed for divorce this morning. And I sent copies of the videos to your mom, your sister, and your boss." Her face went blank. Then panic. "You what?" "Nate, you can't. My job." "Your job?" "You lied and said you were caring for a sick parent. You used vacation days for an affair. What do you think happens next?" She started yelling. Not crying anymore. Mad now. "You're ruining my life."
"No," I said.
"You did that. I'm just making sure you don't pretend you didn't." She stormed off, peeled out of the driveway. But she wasn't done causing problems. 3 days later, I got a letter from her lawyer. She was trying to push for joint custody. Said I'd acted irrationally and emotionally endangered our child by moving her out of our home without permission. That's when I knew this wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was war. So I dug in. I got character letters from coworkers, neighbors, even Addie's daycare provider. I handed over the iPad, the backup drive, and every message to my lawyer. He said I had one of the cleanest cases for full custody he'd seen in years. But the real twist didn't come until I followed a hunch. I remembered Tasha's best friend, Morgan. They used to be super close, until about a year ago when they stopped hanging out. Tasha said they just drifted. I called Morgan. She answered with, "Nate?
Wow.
This is unexpected." I said, "I just want the truth. Please. Anything you can tell me." She was quiet for a second. Then she said, "She started cheating way before the baby was born. You should know that." I sat down hard. Morgan went on. "Daniel came back into her life while she was still pregnant. I warned her. I told her it was wrong. That you didn't deserve that. That Addie deserved better. She told me to mind my own business. After that, she blocked me." I thanked her. I hung up. I stared at Addie while she napped and felt this deep, aching sadness in my chest. My wife hadn't just betrayed me. She'd lied to everyone. She cheated during her pregnancy. While I painted the nursery. While I installed safety gates and built cribs. She had no soul left in her. But I still wasn't done. Tasha tried to spin the story to everyone once the truth started leaking out. She told her mom I was emotionally unstable, that I was obsessed with punishing her, and that I made up the cheating out of nowhere. She even said I'd manipulated the videos, that they were old clips from before we were married. But her story fell apart quick. I made sure of it. I uploaded the metadata from the iPad footage to my lawyer. The timestamps showed the truth. Every video, every photo had a date and location embedded. She wasn't in Littleton with her mom. She was in Scottsdale, Arizona, with Daniel, a 4-star resort. I cross-checked the background with the resort's website. Same pool, same lounge chairs, same bar menu. It was airtight. Her mom called me crying. "I didn't know," she said. "She told me you kicked her out. She used your surgery as her alibi," I told her. "She left her daughter, so she could go sleep with her ex." Silence. After that, her own family started pulling away from her. Her older sister Megan told me she was disgusted and offered to write a statement for court if I needed it. I didn't ask. She volunteered. But then came something I didn't see coming. Daniel's wife messaged me. Yep, wife. Her name's Erica. She reached out through Facebook and asked if I had a minute to talk. I checked her profile. They'd been married 8 years. Lived in Tucson. Had a little boy. I gave her my number. She called within 5 minutes. "I had no idea," she said. "He told me he was going to Denver for a construction job. Said he was picking up side work to cover bills." I told her everything. Sent her screenshots, videos, photos. She cried on the phone for 10 minutes. "This isn't the first time," she said, "but it's the worst." She thanked me. Said she and her son were staying with her parents. She didn't know what she was going to do next, but she was glad she knew the truth. 2 days later, she posted everything on her Facebook page. Full breakdown. Pictures, receipts, the works. Tagged Daniel. It went viral in our circles. Small-town drama spreads fast. Then someone sent me a screenshot of Daniel's truck. Spray painted across the side in huge red letters. "Homewrecker, don't know who did it. Wasn't me." But I didn't feel bad. Tasha messaged me later that day. Just one line. "You happy now?" I didn't answer. But the storm wasn't over. A week before our first custody hearing, I got a knock at Caleb's door. It was a woman in her mid-30s, blonde, with dark circles under her eyes. She looked nervous. "Are you Nate?" she asked.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say this. "I'm Daniel's ex. Not the wife, before her. He did the same thing to me. And to another woman. I thought you should know." "What does that have to do with me?" She hesitated. "Tasha isn't just with him. They're planning to move in together. They already applied for an apartment. In Denver." "They're still seeing each other?" I said. "Even after everything?" She nodded. "I thought you deserved to know. She's not coming back to you. And she doesn't think you'll fight for full custody. She thinks the court will split everything." That did it. I called my lawyer that night and told him to go full force. I wanted sole custody, supervised visitation, and a restraining order if necessary. He said we could fight for it, but it would get messy. I told him I didn't care. My daughter wasn't growing up around two people who treated lies like they were nothing. And then, Tasha did something even worse. She tried to turn the daycare against me. She went behind my back and told Addie's daycare that she was reassuming primary custody and they should not release Addie to anyone unless she personally approved it. Claimed I was emotionally erratic and possibly violent. She said I had anger issues and screamed in front of the baby. The director called me immediately. Said she was disturbed by the sudden claims and wanted to confirm before acting. I told her to hold on. I drove straight there with my lawyer on the phone. Showed them court documents, custody arrangements, and copies of the videos. The director looked me in the eye and said, "I believe you." And I'm documenting everything she said. Tasha showed up the next morning. They didn't let her in. She texted me, raging. Said she was being erased from her own daughter's life. I replied, "You erased yourself the second you left." Still wasn't done. But the tables were starting to turn. The custody hearing was set for a Tuesday morning. I showed up in a clean shirt, no tie, holding a folder full of everything. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't scared. I was just done. Tasha walked in wearing a gray pantsuit, holding a little fake leather planner, like she was trying to impress someone. Daniel wasn't with her. She sat at the other table with her lawyer and didn't look at me once. The judge was a woman in her late 50s. Serious. No smile. She read our file, flipped through it for a while, then looked up. The hearing was longer than I expected. Tasha's lawyer tried every trick in the book. Said I was trying to alienate Tasha from Addie. Claimed I acted out of revenge, not concern. That I'd used private videos to destroy her reputation. My lawyer waited until they were done, then calmly handed over the binder. Inside were printed timestamps, video metadata, text logs, statements from the daycare director, her own mother and sister, and the photos from her fake trip. Then we pulled out the ace. We submitted Morgan's written statement. Erica's too. And the final nail. An email from the resort in Arizona, confirming Tasha and Daniel had checked in together under her name. During the exact dates, she told me she was taking care of her sick mom. Tasha's face went white. Her lawyer looked like he wanted to disappear under the desk. Then the judge spoke. In 20 years of hearing family cases, this is one of the most shameful patterns of deception I've seen. You didn't just cheat on your husband. You abandoned your child, lied to your family, and put this entire court in a position where you now expect shared custody after displaying complete disregard for parental duty. She looked at Tasha. I'm granting Mr. Taylor full legal and physical custody. You will have supervised visitation for 1 hour, twice a month, at a facility approved by the court.
No overnight stays.
No unsupervised contact. Tasha gasped. Her lawyer tried to speak, but the judge cut him off. You're lucky he didn't press charges for endangerment or custodial interference. Then came the final blow. Additionally, the judge said, based on submitted evidence and false claims made to your daughter's daycare, I am issuing a restraining order. You will stay 300 feet away from Mr. Taylor's residence, workplace, and the child's daycare unless authorized. That was it. She lost everything. And she knew it. As we left the courtroom, she tried to speak to me. I didn't stop walking. I didn't say a word. But karma wasn't done with her yet. 2 weeks later, I heard through the grapevine that Daniel had ghosted her. Took whatever money they had planned to use for their new apartment and vanished. Erica confirmed it. He emptied their joint account before she could freeze it. Tasha had no job. She got fired when her boss found out she'd faked her time off.
No apartment.
No family willing to help. Even her mom cut her off, told her she needed to face reality. She moved into a short-term women's shelter on Colfax. A mutual friend told me she started waitressing at a cheap diner near downtown. I never verified it. Didn't care to. I had Addie. That was enough. But I wasn't perfect either. I had to admit, part of me didn't just want justice. I wanted revenge. And I got it. I posted my full story, edited for safety, on a local community page. No names. No faces. Just the truth. It blew up. got shared over 40,000 times in a week. People called it the hot tub divorce. Someone made memes. Local gossip pages turned it into a series. She couldn't go anywhere without someone recognizing her.
Her shame was permanent now.
And me? I stayed quiet, focused on my daughter, on getting better, on moving on. 6 months later, I was picking up Addie from daycare when one of the staff pulled me aside. She said, "Dada today," she whispered. I picked her up, and she looked at me with those big eyes like she already knew everything that had happened. I smiled, held her tight, and said, "Yeah, baby. I'm here. I'm always here." The story was finished. Her lies had been exposed. My life had been torn apart and stitched back together, not the same as before, but stronger, harder. But you want more? All right, here's what happened after the dust settled. Tasha didn't stop trying to contact me. She used burner numbers, fake Facebook profiles, even tried writing me a handwritten letter that showed up in my mailbox one morning. I recognized her handwriting the second I saw the envelope. I didn't open it. I gave it to my lawyer. She tried to get back into Addie's life by showing up to the court-approved visits looking like a different person, hair dyed, no makeup, dressed in oversized sweaters like she was playing the part of a broken mother. But the visitation supervisor reported that she barely engaged with Addie, spent more time asking about me than paying attention to her own daughter. Her visits got cut even shorter after that. I thought about the things I could have done differently. Maybe if I had seen the signs earlier. Maybe if I hadn't been so trusting. But then again, maybe she just would have gotten better at hiding it. I wasn't perfect. I held on to the pain too long. I let anger eat away at me even after I won. I missed red flags because I didn't want to see them. That was on me. But I learned. I kept the focus on Addie. I poured everything into being the dad she needed. I started therapy, joined a single parents group, fixed up the house,
Cooked more.
got healthy. For her.
For me.
About a year after the divorce was finalized, I met someone. Her name's Melissa. We met at my brother's cookout. She was quiet, kind, didn't try to fix me or dig into my past. She just listened, took her time, earned trust instead of asking for it. I told her everything one night after Addie fell asleep on the couch. She didn't flinch, didn't try to say you deserved better or what a witch. She just held my hand and said, "I'm glad you made it out." It hit me hard, because I did make it out. As for Tasha, last I heard, she moved to Nevada. Her visitation rights were permanently suspended after she missed 3 in a row without notice. Her last attempt to appeal got denied. She never saw Addie again after that. Her name still comes up sometimes. A photo on Facebook. A joke from someone who remembers the hot tub story. But for me, she's just a chapter 1 closed. One I don't plan to reopen. People ask me if I regret it. Exposing her. Going scorched earth. Airing the truth.
No.
I don't. She turned her back on her family. On her child. On the life we built. She dug her own grave. I just stopped throwing dirt back in for her. And now, Addie turns 3 this fall. She sleeps through the night, eats like a champ, and calls Melissa a Mimi. That's my real happy ending. The kind no hot tub lie can take away.